Hey, what's going on, folks? This is NEcology. You'll have to pardon some of the background noise. A little bit of a thunderstorm going on above me right now. For the last, 10 or so days, it has been humid and warm and just swampy as all hell. It's been pretty disgusting. It's been pretty darn gross. But what these conditions have, allowed for is a pretty darn good mushroom season so far. I remember last year we were in a horrible drought. The year before that it was pretty freaking cold this time of year. Hang on, rain's picking up a little bit. I'm just going to shield my camera, Just going to shield my camera a little bit. Take my backpack off. Get over this thing. So, last year we were in a horrible drought. This year it's been optimal conditions. The year before that it was just really, really cold. Anyway, the through line to that is that this has been a good season for mushrooms. I'm standing under a lovely shady grove of hemlock trees right now, Tsuga canadensis in the family Pinaceae, and the pine family and the oaks are two species that associate heavily with mushrooms, heavily with mycorrhizal mushrooms, as they're called. And what we have in front of us here is not a plant, but a plant that one could, in theory, mistake for some type of mushroom, because you'll note that this bugger has no chlorophyll whatsoever. Talked about this plant, a number of times before. It's one of my favorite plants. It's actually, a favorite of a lot of people. Quite rare in certain parts of its range, which is essentially all of the non-desert U.S. and then disjunct down there in the mountains of central Mexico. This is Monotropa uniflora right here. And this is, get that in focus for you. This is in fact the flowering stalk of that plant. There's no leaves on this guy. I guess he's got white bracts, but it doesn't matter because the thing's making no chlorophyll. So like I just kind of mentioned, all right, I got a through line to this episode. I got plants acting like mushrooms, and mushrooms, well, they're acting like mushrooms, but they're mimicking plants. This is not mimicking a mushroom. It's if anything, this is behaving more like a mushroom in a sense than the cool fungus we're going to look at in a bit is behaving like a plant. So anyway, what's going on here? Like I just said, Monotropa uniflora. The family's Ericaceae, so it's in the blueberry family, but specifically it is in the very odd subfamily Monotropoideae. Actually, we got a cousin of it right next door that'll show you, even though it's not in bloom. So Monotropoideae is a subfamily. Lot of parasites in that subfamily of Ericaceae. Specifically, a lot of them being fungal parasites. So I mentioned mycorrhizal mushrooms that are symbiotic with oaks and pines, and I mentioned that this is a mycoheterotroph. So this is a specialist parasite, excuse me, on those specific types of fungus that are associating with oaks and pines and maybe some other stuff too. And yeah, essentially what this guy does is, those mushrooms are, symbiotic, so they're freeing up certain nutrients from the ground, and in return they're getting some sugar and from the plant, because again, mushrooms are not autotrophs, they're eutrophs or what have you. They need to feed on something to get their nutrients. They don't photosynthesize, and neither does this plant here. So it's got a little specialized root called a hostorium, and what that is doing is plugging into, I guess you would say, the mycelium of the mushroom, the mycelium of the fungus, and it is indirectly feeding off the sugars from the trees above us that are doing the photosynthesizing. So mushroom parasitizes the fungus. Fungus is in a symbiosis with the trees, and that's where this guy's getting his nutrients from, indirectly from the trees, directly from the mushrooms. So no chlorophyll. You will not find a trace of it. Occasionally these guys are pink or red. This is really early in the season for them to be out. Usually I don't see these till mid-July, end of July. And they bloom straight through to October. I mean, I got pictures of them, you know, early October, mid-October, still, you know, out and in full bloom, doing their thing. And I have a hunch that it has something to do with, you know, the conditions that we find ourselves in this early summer, so to speak. So I'll get in there a second. I will show you. I mean, there's a ton of them around, you know. Here's a couple more right here. I just don't want to bring my camera out too far, you know, from where I'm at. But oh yeah, here's one of its cousins. So this is in a different tribe, same subfamily, different tribe. This is Chimaphila immaculata. This one's not blooming, but you know, really easy to pick out just based off of those leaves. This is in the Pyrolii tribe. So in that tribe, you know, they make chlorophyll. They do their, they might be hemiparasites. I'm not entirely too clear on that. I wasn't too clear on that when I kind of did a botched episode about this last year. Still not too clear on that. I think, in all honesty, I think that the jury is still out on that. But let me pause this for a second. I'll get in there, I'll show you what's going on with the flora morphology, and we'll go check out this cool mushroom. And then they got some penstemons growing around here that has nothing to do with the theme of this episode. I just want to show you penstemons because I didn't talk about them at all last year, and they're really cool. So let me, you know, put the macro lens on and get in there for you. All right, there's the corolla right there. You flip this guy over. You can see what he's doing. That really moist, odd-shaped stigma right there, okay? And then it's got, I believe these have the porous anthers. At the rest of a lot of Ericaceae has that. So remember, porous anthers, they're coming out of a pore at the tip. Now, it's not opening up like a hot dog bun. It's dispensing pollen like a salt and pepper shaker. You see bumblebees going into these things all the time. I'm pretty sure, okay, that is fused, you know. These are the bracts, you know, no leaves. And again, no, I'm not tricking you. There's no basal rosette or anything. Just an entirely achlorophyllous white plant parasitizing mushrooms that are symbiotic with the trees around it. Isn't nature wonderful? The puzzles that exist around us in our everyday life are staggering. This one blew my mind. I remember seeing these as a little kid and thinking that they were mushrooms, but then, you know, grow up, get a little bit into plants, subsequently get a lot into plants, and then you realize these things are not only fascinating ecologically, but they're, you know, one of the few, you know, kind of rare, I guess, rare in some localities, but, you know, they're abundant here, like the pink lady slipper. There's a mosquito eating me. It's like the pink lady slipper, you know. They're pretty rare elsewhere, but here, just in the acidic leached lowlands of southeastern New England, you know, you get some stuff that's, you know, relatively abundant, even though in the grand scheme of things the soil here is pretty shit and pretty hard to grow in. But I think that's gonna do it for now. I'm gonna do a plant spotlight on this guy, and I'm gonna go talk about, you know, the couple other things that we had to look at. And you know what, I'm just gonna accept the fact that that's gonna be pissing on me. It doesn't bother me too much. I'm more worried about my camera, you know. I don't want to ruin my camera. So without further ado, let's go see what happens when a mushroom starts taking ideas from a plant instead of vice versa. Monotropa uniflora, one you should know. Again, relatively abundant here in southeast New England. Get it up in the mountains too, and the thing goes off. I mean, it's early now for its season. I'm in no rush to start documenting this thing, but you know, blooming kind of early this season. It'll be sticking around until October, you know. Let me show you one cool thing with these, actually. So those ones were fresh that we were just looking at. Here's a whole other, you know, stack of them right here. So they turn their heads up, and then they start to turn black once they're pollinated. You can see some of the mushrooms they might be working right over here, or maybe not. I can't remember if mycorrhizae even produce, you know, stocking cap mushrooms. Actually, no, they do, because I know what the predominant genus that these guys work with. This is the Rusula, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and those do, you know, have a stocking cap mushroom. I can always correct myself if I'm wrong. I'll put a little picture of like a, you know, a Rusula. I hope I'm saying that right. That's native to the area up right about now, or maybe a little bit before this, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Lovely overstory of Tsuga canadensis, the hemlocks. Real shady. I see here some of these mushrooms that are coming up. I barely saw any. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Barely saw any mushrooms last year. I'll take a couple pics while I'm here, just to see if I can figure out this exact species. But I'm pretty bad with my mushroom ID, unless it's like Amanita muscaria or this thing I keep hyping up that I'm going to show you in a second, which I've gotten pretty good at recognizing those in their various stages of growth. Remember, this isn't the entire organism. This is just the reproductive structure. This is just what sends the spores out. Anybody who decides to, don't go around kicking mushrooms over for no reason, but you can pick a mushroom up and examine it, like I'll do it right now. You should take a look. See those gills? Isn't that nice? You kind of have to get diagnostic with them, to be frank. But, you set it back down. Yeah, it's really coming down. You sit this guy back down, he's going to be fine. He's still going to accomplish his mission, You're not hurting the actual organism. Actual organism is just threads under the ground. But, and then as far as you touching them, as far as I know, there's no mushrooms that can give you any sort of contact, contact irritation. Just don't put your hands in your mouth after. Don't, and don't rub anything all over yourself. Just, there's nothing in the mushroom domain, as far as I'm aware, that's like a poison ivy or like a stinging nettle. But I've gone on way too long at this point. I'll try and get a positive idea on this specific mushroom. Maybe this is one of the aforementioned mycorrhizal mushrooms. But let's get out of the rain for a second, or not even for a second. I'm not getting out of the rain. Let me go over to the other spot, hurry this up, and maybe we could just chop this into 3 segments. Penstemons are cool and you should know them, okay? God, every time I end up in this type of situation and I just get soaked to the goddamn bone, I just seem to end up butt dialing the SOS alert on my phone. Anyway, check this out. Yeah, I just got off the phone with 911. I accidentally butt dialed them. It's okay, it happens to the best of us. PSA, if that ever happens to you, stay on the line, don't hang up, talk to them, let them know you're okay. Hey, I'm so sorry, I sat on my phone, I butt dialed you. They'll say, okay, thank you, no emergency, and that'll be that. Check out this guy though. This is a species of Cornus. I forgot the epithet right now, but the common name is Silky Dogwood. Cornus is, of course, the genus of dogwoods, although I guess that got brought up. So, some of them, like Cornus florida or Cornus causa, have, or even, Cornus canadensis, have those 4 white bracts, surrounding the inflorescence. Cornus canadensis got put into its own genus, but Cornus florida, they got split up based on the floral morphology. That's about all I know about it. So this, I believe, would now be in the genus Swida, S-W-I-D-A, and I'll be real impressed with myself if that's true. But 4 petal flowers in the same family as Viburnum, Adoxaceae, although that might also, or Cornaceae. What am I talking about? Cornaceae, is that even a family anymore? I gotta do some looking into the phonology of dogwoods in this genus Cornus, but nevertheless, growing here in the same habitat as Monotropa and as the mushroom we're going to go look at. I'm still getting eaten alive. The rain slowed down a little bit, but yeah, four-parted flowers, lacking the auxiliary bracts around it. Cornus alternifolia is another one I've seen around here. However, you'd be able to tell them apart readily by the fact that Cornus alternifolia has alternate leaves, and this has opposite, much like the rest of the genus, I believe, and much of the rest of the entire family and order. This has got to be a dogwood family, Cornaceae. What was I looking at today? Oh, I was looking at something about Sambucus. Sambucus is in the Adoxaceae. Viburnums, Viburnums, elderberries, dogwoods, I think even hydrangea. They're all in the same order. Cornales, of course, that too could be completely wrong. I think at one point they were lumped in closer together, but I'm just talking out of my ass at this point. Anyway, very cool native, I guess this one's a shrub, but I think these get to be small trees, not too terribly big, and I never really I didn't really give dogwoods the appreciation they deserve, except for that little herbaceous one, Cornus canadensis, because there's a lot of cool ones around, Anyway, we're going to continue en route to our actual target here, and just, soak in the water. Try not to butt dial emergency services again. Oh, what a lovely hissing family you have. I see your little tennis ball babies have grown up into miniature Canadian dragons. I got a lot of respect for you guys. You guys is good parents, but I'm just gonna pass through, minding my own business, okay? No need to try anything funny, okay? I like the rain too, you know. It's nice. No one's out here. Usually there's a ton of people here, so I don't film here very often. But today it's a little different. I'll leave you and the rest of your lovely family alone. The dreaded cobra chicken. Yeah, the babies are real cute though. Jeez. Easy there. I'm not gonna, just taking a picture, you know? Okay, so right in front of us. Alright, I might have over-exaggerated its resemblance to a flower. But, you know, nonetheless, it manages to typically trick insects into thinking it's some sort of flower or, you know, nectar source, offering pollen, what have you. Alright, so this plant here, I believe this is a young rhododendron. I think this is a young rhododendron viscosum, which, depending on what species this is, could change the species of the fungus growing on it. But nevertheless, here we have a little mushroom growing right out of the stem of this thing, growing right out of the, what looks like the, let me get down here so I can see what I'm doing here. Growing out of what looks like the pedestal of the leaf. This is Exobasidium. Exobasidium vaccinii is the Huckleberry Gall, parasitizes Vaccinium species, closely related, whatever, what have yous. This one might be the other one that parasitizes. There's a few of them, but this one, there's one, you know, they specialize usually to sections of Ericaceae. All of them, to my knowledge, parasitizing members of the family Ericaceae, which begs the question, are there any fungal parasites on the monotropes? They're in Ericaceae. So this thing resembles a grotesque enlarged flower somewhat, you know. Doesn't have to be perfect, just enough to trick insects into landing on it. What I'm guessing happens is that eventually this matures, you get pores down here, dumping out spores, insect gets covered in the spores, and transports it on to the next plant, the next victim. So Exobasidium is the main genus in the family Exobasidiaceae, and I think there's even an order Exobasidiales. So these things all, like I said, specialize on different, you know, types of ericaceous plants, different plants of the blueberry family. They're all over. Oh, it fell off. That's okay. I probably just did the plant here a favor. There's 1.5 million of these things around anyway. This is just the one I picked for today. So this little UFO flying saucer thing, that's where it attaches. So, you know, the thing's gonna secrete spores at some point. It's gonna reproduce. It's gonna do its own thing. These are basidiomycetes, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not too distantly related from, you know, the stalking cap mushroom. When you consider all of the weird different lineages of, you know, fungus and, you know, fungus adjacent life that parasitizes plants, this thing's actually in a pretty rudimentary, you know, pretty familiar to us clade of them, if I'm not mistaken. I could have that mixed up, you know, Basidiomycota, Ascomycota. Again, I'm not a mycologist. I'm just interested in how they interact with plants. So, kind of odd. I didn't really think about that until right now. Two interesting plants in the family Ericaceae, one parasitizing mushrooms and one being parasitized by mushrooms. So, you know, a guy I like a lot, channel you should check out, Crime Paste Botany doesn't, was blown away by these down in Florida, and then I just happened to, you know, come across them when they were still developing. The leaves swell up red and then white, and then they turn into these things as they start to mature, and was absolutely amazed to find out quite a few of them make it up here. And then just in general, they're all over the temperate, you know, regions of the world. You get them in Europe, you get them in Asia. Just a really, really cool genus of mushroom, and I guess you could call it that if it is in fact a basidiomycete. You know, I always correct myself if I'm wrong. You know, you've got to read the subtitles on these things. So I think we'll leave it at that. You know, oh well, I didn't mean to break it off the plant, but like I said, every single thing around here is just infected with these, and I probably did the plant a favor in the grand scheme of things. So we'll just leave them there, and something will probably come and, you know, try to eat it, or maybe it already got rid of the spores. Like I said, don't feel too bad if you know, mess up a mushroom or two. Don't go out of your way to screw them up. I just, generally speaking, with the mushrooms, the traditional stocking cap mushrooms as they're called, you're not doing them too much harm by picking them. They're going to spread those spores out no matter what. The things only live for a few days anyway before they dissolve into goo or get ripped apart by slugs. So let me go show you some penstemon. Just double check and make sure I haven't butt dialed 911 again. I have not. I'd say we're good to go. I'll show you a penstemon on the way out, and then I think, oh Jesus, lightning. Yeah, I kind of think I need to get out of here. I've been in the woods mostly. This is actually a farm near here. Yeah, it's a good one. But you know, a little rain never hurt nobody, and a little thunder only hurts if you get hit by the lightning associated with it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's go look at a penstemon. Let's get the hell out of here. So just to show you, and I don't need to go into it because I've talked about this plant in 2 videos now. This at length. This is Rhododendron viscosum. This is what I think that Exobasidium was parasitizing, just based off the leaves there. Lovely, lovely plant. Go back and check out some other video I've done on it. The swamp azalea. Cool one. Not something I really need to get into right now though. Just, you know, I think I was looking at a young one, and it's always coming up with poison ivy. Oh, yeah, okay, really quick. I'll make this brief just because I'm actually now on the edge of the forest. Before I felt fine, because, you know, I was down in there, but now I'm kind of on the edge of it. There's a whole bunch of these further out exposed, but for obvious reasons, I'm just going to show you this one right here. These are growing in clumps right behind me out in the field. This is Penstemon digitalis, the so-called foxglove beard tongue, and they get their name, you know, beard tongue, the common name, little staminode there. You can see 4 didynamous stamens up there, 2 orders occurring at different lengths, and somewhere in there is the actual pistil. Tubular fused corolla there, terminating in 5 lobes, 4 down, 2 up, kind of like a lobelia, but obviously no relation. This is in the family Plantagenaceae. You know, the family of plantains. If you've ever seen them growing up on your lawn, you know what I'm talking about. Put a little picture of a Plantagolanceolata there. You've seen them. You probably ripped them out of your lawn if you're some dummy who still has a lawn, because they think it's 1955 and the water tank. I don't need to get into it, but you get the idea. Opposite leaves there. So opposite leaves, zygomorphic, you know, bilaterally symmetrical. You can only divide the thing in half one way and have it be symmetrical corolla. If you guessed that this is in the order of mints, lamiales, you guess right. Plantagenaceae is in fact in that order. What else I got to say about this thing? Really common species out here in the east. This species, Penstemon digitalis. By the way, foxglove beard tongue. Digitalis is the genus of foxglove, which we don't have here in the U.S. Just like they don't have this out there in Europe. This is entirely restricted to North America, and even then, mostly restricted to the temperate regions of North America, the Nearctic kingdom, how you could say. And yeah, so lamiales. This whole complex of families, Scrophulariaceae, Orobancaceae, Plantagenaceae, it all got Lindariaceae, all got split up relatively recently. But I think that we should probably do a smart thing and get out of here, you know, because I'm not in the woods anymore. I'm back over near where I parked my car. I swear to God, it wasn't thundering when I started hiking down this trail. I'm not encouraging you to make bad decisions. I'm just, you know, I had to go back either way, and I was already in the shade, so I figured why not. You know, 3 species native to the northeast: Penstemon digitalis, Penstemon hirsuta, Penstemon pallida, but a whole bunch of other introduced ones from elsewhere in the United States. This thing's particularly abundant, I think, out in the lower Great Plains, so, you know, North Texas, Oklahoma. I'm sure you get quite a few species in the more temperate regions. Of course, temperate's the wrong word, of Mexico, but you know what I mean, the less hot, less tropical regions of Mexico. Quite a few in Florida too, as I understand. I think we'll leave it at that and wrap up right there. Take it easy, everybody. Try to stay dry if you're in the New England region right now, but of course you won't be seeing this video until probably well after this tropical weather passes us by. Enjoy your day, evening, whatever.